What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video we are back with the 95 Corolla wagon again. As you can see, it's in winter mode. I have a pretty exciting video that a lot of people have requested over time, and that is how I made these headlights. So I can't really say I made the headlights, but I did customize them. So let me show you how. And to top it off, this video is sponsored by LastFit, which provided me with an awesome set of LED bulbs to replace the current ones that are in here, because these are, well, kind of junk. They're a decent brand. I'm not going to name anything, but I've had them for several years. And on the passenger side right here, one of them, or one side of the LED is actually kind of on its way out. Sometimes it flashes, so it makes things look weird. And then this side has a weird tint to it. So basically they're both junk and they need to be replaced. But in the process, I'm going to explain to you how I made these headlights, because a lot of people keep asking me. And for the past couple of years, I just never got around to making a video, but this is a great opportunity. So let's get right into it and pop the hood, which I already popped up. And you can tell there's some red RTV there. And well, I can explain. Typically when someone looks at my headlights, that's the first thing they see, because it's red, because I didn't use the black RTV for some reason. So basically, here's what the car looked like before. I bought these black housing headlights and put them on. They were amazing. They were the separate low and high beam style. I know they have ones that are a combined, I think it's a 9007 bulb that they use, which is kind of like the 2-in-1 low and high beam bulb, which is the same housing here, except it doesn't have a divider in the middle, and it's all one giant open lens there. So I wanted these because I wanted to retain the factory look. The factory had the low beam over here, high beam over here, and obviously the corner light, but I wanted to retain that factory look, so I bought these, and they were awesome. I used halogens in them for the first few months, and then I swapped over to LEDs when I got those LEDs. I didn't get any good ones, and they were just bad. They were really bad, we'll just put it at that. And I modified them to work, and then they were great, but it was definitely not a great situation. So I'm going to talk about that in a future video, but for now I just wanted to cover what I did here, because as you can see, it's got a projector in it. And what I did is I eventually, probably about a year after I used these headlights with LEDs in them, I said, oh, I want to upgrade. So how can I upgrade? Well, I can upgrade to a projector. So I found these projector retrofit kits on Amazon, picked one, bought it, and kind of put it in. So to do that, you have to open up the headlight, but typically you'd want to bake it in the oven until it's hot, and then kind of peel it off. And I tried that with a heat gun in a cardboard box. That didn't work, so I cut it with the grinder, and then I was left with this. So then I was happy, but also I didn't know what to do to glue it back, so I put red RTV all around it. So at this point I had, as you can see in these pictures, the projector and the low beam side taken apart. I painted it black with Plasti Dip. So this is actually a removable coating. I thought that if I ever wanted to go back to non-projector headlights, I could do that, and I don't think I would ever want to, but I guess it's nice to have the option. I don't even know if I put it on thick enough to peel it, so you know. Anyway, so then I put in these projectors here, which kind of just bolt on from the back. So you have the part that slides in, and then a threaded area in the back, and it slides in through the hole of the bulb. So this is the view from the back side. You can see there's that large nut, and it threads onto the threads of the projector, and that's how it gets clamped down. So you have to remove the original 9006 retainer, which is that plastic thing right there. So you remove that, you unscrew the screws, and then you're left with nothing. And then you thread this in, clamp it, and before you clamp it, you have to make sure that it is positioned correctly. I know I switched to the passenger side because on the driver's side it's a little more difficult to see it, but basically you have to position it correctly so that your beam is straight, parallel to the ground. Otherwise it kind of tilts up and down, and I am actually having that issue right now. The passenger side is kind of loose, so with vibrations the beam kind of goes whoop. Anyway, I'll fix that. And that's basically what it is. So it's really a simple setup. It wasn't that expensive. I'm going to link all these parts in the description so that if you want to replicate it, you can do that. The only difficult part was opening up the headlights, which if you have the patience and know how to do it correctly, you can avoid this because this looks horrible. Or at least don't make my mistake and use black RTV, not red, because now it's all over the lens and everything. While I was in here doing this, I also had a friend put some clear vinyl protection film on top because after a couple of years of having these, they were starting to fade, and I did not want that. So basically that's how these are put together. And it's not, like I said, not a crazy setup, but definitely unique because I don't think you can buy this type of setup anywhere, and unless you make it yourself. They have some projector headlights for these cars, but they look a little bit different. So here's what I'm thinking of. I don't know if you can buy something like this, but you know, you can just make it yourself. And the performance is actually really good. It did take me a long time to adjust the beam up and down because if you don't get this just right, the adjustment actually raises and lowers the whole headlight. So you want the high beam to be aligned straight as well as the low beam. And if this is too low or too high, when you line up the high beam, this is going to be too low or too high. So you have to unscrew it, reposition it, probably shim it underneath or above or whatever you have to do. It's a little tricky, but worth it. So now back to the LED bulb part. Thank you again, LastFit, for sponsoring the video. Got some stickers here. That's pretty cool. A little owner's manual or product manual, I guess. And here are the bulbs. I am very excited to try these out. So what I was saying earlier is they have two sides, and the ones I currently have in there, one of the sides doesn't really work anymore. Sometimes it flickers on and off, so that's not great. And I just noticed these have this copper part in the middle, which is very good for cooling, transfers a lot of heat, and these surprisingly get pretty hot. So you wouldn't think that LEDs get hot, but they do. They really do. And I also like that this base can lock into the headlight, but then it can twist, so you can adjust your bulb up and down because you want it sitting like this in the headlight, not sideways. You want the beam facing to the side, not up and down. So anyway, let's get these installed. I also had to make my own connector for this because these bulbs come with spade connectors. So I took an old set of 9006 LEDs that I had that had a regular 9006 connector, took the plug out of it, cut it, connected it with spade connectors over here. So I'm gonna have to remove this electrical tape, but that's fine. See if I can do this one-handed. Yeah, at this point, to get this out of here, press down on this little springy tab, slide it, oops, yeah, see the whole headlight spins. And with that clip removed, have to do it off camera with two hands, you can slide the bulb right out. There's the old one. I'm gonna have to disconnect these connectors like I said. And since I'm in here, I want to fix this and kind of try and get it to lock into place so that it doesn't keep spinning on me. So in order to adjust this, I ended up taking this apart. So this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. The projector has these threads here, and then you just tighten it up. And it's actually pretty cool if you look inside. You can see everything. Well, it's upside down, but you can also see the that cutout there. That's basically the beam cutout. Well, the bulbs are in, so now we just have to wait for it to be dark so we can check out the light output. Well, after having used way too many tools to replace some headlights, they work. They look great. Oh, why do they look so green? They look very green on camera. They're actually just white. I'm not sure what is happening there. Probably some white balance issue, but oh yeah, that is not the color that they are. That is weird. You can see that the beam is cut off perfectly right here. As soon as it starts blinding you, that's where you know you're within the beam, and anything above is just basically, you can see the light, but it doesn't blind you, which is perfect. The pattern on the lens here is actually really good, so you can see the two halves. They're both equal in size and brightness, so I guess at this point we just have to wait for it to be dark and we can test them out at night. Alright, so it is nighttime now. I can finally show off the headlights, and before I show them, well, let me say to you that I drove here and it is a huge difference. So obviously the camera is never going to do it justice, but if you look back there, you can see that nice cutoff. I'll try and zoom in for you so you can actually see, well, hopefully you can tell, but that is a nice cutoff line. Oh, there you go. You can kind of see it right there in the woods there. So obviously these are a huge improvement, and no camera will ever do these justice, just because the camera will never capture what the eye sees. So, I mean, just, I guess, take my word for it. They are amazing. Huge improvement. Definitely a lot better driving with these at night. So I'm gonna leave a link in the description where you can get a set for yourself. As you can see, this is plenty of light. Let me flash the high beams quick so you can see the, well, let's do this. This is nothing, just parking lights. Low beams, high beams, and then my well, you know, light bar. That's a lot of light. And backwards, light bar off, high beams off, and you're left with low beams. So, having said that, thank you so much LastFit for sponsoring this video. These are amazing bulbs. Like I said, I'm going to leave a link in the description where you can get a set for yourself, and hopefully you can experience the same results as me. You should. I mean, as long as they get installed properly, these are great bulbs. Like I said, I'm going to make another video in the near future where I talk about this, but what really matters is the design of the bulb and where the LED actually shines from, so that when the light goes through that lens, it can actually disperse properly, just like a halogen bulb would. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this was helpful. Thank you again very much, LastFit, for sponsoring this video. Link is in the description. Here's a, you know, captain's seat view of everything. And having said that, I will see you in the next one.